New Orleans Saints fans and Hootats from all over the world. This is Kyle T. Mosley here with the Saints News Network, and I have Bob Rose of the Bayou Blitz with me to give you the halftime report. Bob, 7-3, New Orleans. What's going on?
If you're a Saints fan, you have to love the way the team came out on both offense and defense. I thought they were aggressive on both sides of the ball, which is what you and I were calling for them to do and expected out of them yesterday. I thought New Orleans kind of flatlined, though, in the second quarter. So they better ratchet up their intensity coming out of the locker room. Clean up their game plan a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. I thought they got extremely stale. But this is a physical battle. And we thought it might be because the Bears like to pull you into the trenches, and beat you up. We know that the Saints are capable of playing that game. We were just hoping that they would open it up a little bit more and the skill position players would get involved. But hell, this is playoff football. Everybody's intensity is notched up a few bars or so. So we'll see who has the fortitude. We'll see who has the intensity, to maintain throughout the rest of the second half.
I think you meant to say grit.
Yeah.
Look, man, bottom line is what I told you earlier. Is what I told you yesterday. If the Saints do not commit to running the football, they're going to have a problem. The commitment, 8 carries by Kamara, 39 yards, 2 by Hill for 14. Murray only 2 touches for 6 yards. That's not a true commitment. And it's not really catching the Bears defense off guard to be able to have Drew Brees stand back there and be able to try to locate targets. Those guys are stunning up front. They're having some games that really are twisting, Ruiz, and those guys, they're unsure about their blocking schemes. The best way to be able to punch these guys in the gut is to be able to run the football. You have a more superior running offense, use it. So right now, do you think the Saints are going to be able to make those halftime adjustments? Because, it's a 7-3 game, but New Orleans is still controlling most of the game, right?
Yeah, and I would be shocked if New Orleans wasn't able to make those adjustments because, like you said, look, it's not like the Saints aren't running the ball well. They're just not doing it enough. And while I thought last night that we would see an aggressive passing attack, and I liked the way that the offense spread themselves out, and still came at the Bears. They did so passing wise to try to get Brees, Michael Thomas, and Deontay Harris, who has had a heck of a first half, into a rhythm. Well, that worked. Now you have to get the ball to your bread and butter guys. Your Kamara, Taysom Hill, get Murray involved more, like you said. They're rushing the ball well. They're just not doing it enough. And as a result, is allowing those Chicago pass rushers to tee off a little bit. And the Saints are having some problems with pass protection, especially on the interior. I know that a lot of the pressure is coming from Khalil Mack and especially Robert Quinn, but they're coming on inside stunts. The same kind of problems that New Orleans had last year against Minnesota, with Minnesota's defensive ends, and is happening again. So they're going to have to adjust. And like you said just a moment ago, the easiest way to get a pass rush back on his heels is punch him in the mouth with your running game. That's going to give him a little bit of pause, and it's going to give the Saints offensive line a lot more confidence.
Yeah, it looks like former New Orleans Saints Mario Edwards Jr. and Akeem Hicks are really geeked for this game, man. Yeah. The New Orleans Saints, they took their second possession, went down 8 plays, 55 yards, 7 points on the board. Michael Thomas found the end zone first time in over a year. Man, I don't really understand, what did they get away from? Was it a balance they chose to get away from? Was it Sean Payton calling more pass plays than necessary? Or is it just that we are not really handling the Bears defense all in all?
It's a little bit of all three, Kyle. But I think it's more or less the second thing that you mentioned, is that Sean Payton, his play calling has gotten away from balance a little bit. And as a result, look, we knew that this Bears defense has very good personnel on all 3 levels. So you definitely couldn't take them for granted, even with a few injuries that they had on that side of the ball. But because you got away from the balance, that decreases the likelihood that you're going to wear down a short-handed unit. And again, like you and I said a moment ago, it's going to give those pass rushers up front some confidence. And Breeze has some happy feet in the pocket right now when he does drop back to pass, because they aren't giving him the inside protection that they need to.
Yeah. Well, also, it doesn't help that Taysom Hill had his 11th fumble on the season, which could have easily been classified as interception. The Saints are handling the run game against the Bears. Montgomery has only picked up 31 yards on 10 carries. Now, Trubisky is 7 of 12, 68 yards. It's not like he's lighting up the board. They have given them some opportunities down the field. That Wims' missed touchdown is going to loom big for the Bears. What do you see how the Saints defense is really doing, and what do you believe they need to do more against the Bears in the second half?
Well, first of all, like you said, they're playing really stout against the run. You need to continue to do that because the Bears offense needs David Montgomery on the ground to be successful offensively. Marshawn Lattimore is having, I think, a heck of a game. And I say that because we aren't hearing the announcers mention his name too many times. Allen Robinson has been targeted just twice with one reception away from Lattimore's coverage. So the New Orleans defensive backs are playing extremely well right now. They're really rallying to the ball. You may not think that the Saints are getting a lot of pressure on Trubisky because they don't have any sacks, and I think they only have 1 or 2 quarterback hits. But they're making Mitchell uncomfortable in the pocket. They're getting late pressure, which is keeping his receivers from getting open down the field, like you mentioned. And we did have that one blown coverage where Marcus Williams fell down, and luckily Javon Wims dropped the touchdown pass. Knock on wood, we don't want to see that again. But they're just playing pretty sound defensive football right now. They came up big in the red zone, when Chicago had an opportunity to convert that Taysom Hill fumble / interception. So they have to continue to be aggressive on the defensive end. And they're running, when Trubisky does break out of the pocket, they're chasing him down well, and they're playing their defensive assignments very well. They're not letting him get into the open field so he can hurt them with his legs. Okay.
Give me 3 keys to the Saints being able to come away and walk away with the win in this playoff matchup.
First and foremost, you have to get the running game much more involved. Again, you've had success. You need to establish control of the offensive line of scrimmage by doing that, and thus getting Kamara more involved in the game. Number 2, I want to see him take a deep shot with Breeze fairly early. I've been watching. Chicago has been covering their outside receivers even when the Saints aren't spreading them out. They've been going with a lot of one-on-one coverage on the outside and only one single deep safety. You got to make them pay for that. Defensively, you got to get a little bit more early pressure on Trubisky to force him into mistakes, which he knows he has a penchant to do. Otherwise, if you're New Orleans defensively, you got to keep the ball in front of you, like for the most part they have been doing a good job of, and just let your talent take over. You're a more talented unit than what the Bears offense is, so it's unlikely they're going to string together too many long drives on you.
Okay. All right. It's not like we have so many great stats to be able to talk about in this game, but Chauncey Gordon-Johnson, his return has been huge. He has had 4 tackles already. Demario Davis and Cam Jordan 2 apiece, as well as Janoris Jenkins. Janoris Jenkins missed a big interception earlier as well. But the Saints are still owning the clock, 17 minutes compared to the Bears, 14 minutes on the clock. All right. This is Mr. Bob Rose. Tell everybody how they can follow you, Bob.
You can follow me all of my work through the Saints News Network and SI.com team channel, of course. Personally, I can be found on Facebook, Bob Rose, and over on Twitter at BobbyR2613.
Yeah, Charlene, I do not know what's going on with Lutz. Very, very alarming at this point in the season. Kyle Team Mosley here at the Saints News Network. You can follow the Saints News Network at Saints News on Twitter, Instagram, as well as on Facebook. Let's see how the Saints prevail. You can go to saints.media. After the game, we will have the recaps from John Hendricks, myself, as well as Bob Rose and Brendan Borland. This is Kyle T. Mosley. Let's hope the Saints are able to walk away with a win in this wild card game. Take care.